continue in our weight loss challenge, grow, getting rid of unwanted weight. And we're going to focus just for a few minutes on the subject of follow through. Follow through. Somebody say follow through. Last week we ended our sermon on self-control with the self-control formula. That word plus deed plus follow-through equals lasting results. I had several men. I was like, thank God the men paying attention to the sermons. Amen. I said, well, Pastor, I'm just telling you the truth. Now, I can get the word part down. I got my deed part down because I know what I need to be doing. I wrote it down and listed it and come up with a game plan. But I said, Pastor, my biggest dilemma is not the word or the deed part. It's the follow through. It's actually doing it. And so before I jumped into preaching a sermon on getting rid of the weight of debt and the weight of this and the weight, I said, since the men are listening, amen, men, I needed to spend a little time talking about follow through. Ecclesiastes 7:8 says, the end of a matter is better than its beginning. Stop right there. The only way that you can get from beginning to the end of a matter is that you got to follow through. Somebody hear me now when I'm talking. You can't get to the better end of a matter if you don't follow through from the beginning. And brothers and sisters, to tell you the truth, for many of us, our challenge is not the beginning. It's following through from the beginning. Somebody better say amen. To get to the better end. So let me give you a concise definition of follow through. I've been working on giving shorter definitions, since some people say I give paragraphs. Amen. Follow through. When you actually do and keep on doing what you have planned and strategized to do. When you actually do and strategize to do. So now let's just do an inventory real quick. 7 months and 12 days into 2015. How many folks started at the beginning of the year planning and strategizing? Many of us started out with these phenomenal plans and strategies. But how many folk can tell on yourself and say your follow through hadn't been so good? And brothers and sisters, we're going to look for just a few more minutes on what it takes to be people of follow through. But let me just give you a few roadblocks to why some of us don't follow through. Laziness. Some of us, the roadblock to follow through is pure, deep, flat out laziness. And it's not always just laziness in activity. It's also laziness in our thinking. What are the roadblocks to follow through? Fear of the unknown. Some of us, we don't do nothing because we're scared of what lies ahead. And we don't even know what lies ahead. Some of us don't try because we're scared there's something ahead that could set us back. Brothers and sisters, none of us knows what's going to happen in 10 minutes. Am I talking right? All we have is right now. Fear of the unknown. Somebody else's fear of inadequacy, feeling like you don't measure up. When you put all of us, somebody say all of us. When we put all of us in the presence of a holy God, none of us deserves God's goodness. Some of us, our roadblock is that we fear failing. But brothers and sisters, let me repeat what I've said before, that the only thing worse than failure is failing to try it all. Some people have a fear of success. Let me tell you what I sort of gathered why some people fear success is that some people are fearful of success, so they don't follow through, because if they succeed, it may just force them to have to keep doing what they did, plus more, to be just as successful or even more successful. And see, I had to tell one of our young people, the reason why you don't put forth your best effort in school is not because you don't have it in you. You're actually afraid of succeeding. That if you get an A in that geometry class, it will force you to have to keep doing what you did to get the A and do something more if you want to go a little higher. Never allow a fear of having to work harder. Oh, y'all better talk back to me in this church today. There's something that is very valuable in having a good work ethic. Let me just give you these few things and I'm going to sit down. How do we become people of follow through? Write this down. Number one, stop waiting on a feeling. I ain't done it because I ain't felt it. Sometimes you're not going to feel it. Sometimes you don't feel, okay, let's just be real. We're going to talk real. Let me talk. Grab Max, but let me just use you. Now, sometimes I don't feel like going to work. But we go to work, don't we? Because the house note don't care. Nashville Electric don't care. Gas company don't care. Sometimes we don't feel like coming to church. But how many of us press our way anyway? Because there's some things you cannot relegate to a feeling. Some things you just got to know for yourself that when it is time, it's just time to do what you got to do. And Proverbs 23:7 says, as a man or woman thinking in their heart, so is he or she. Sometimes you just got to know. And you can't wait on a feeling. Stop waiting on a feeling. Turn the corner. Number two, becoming people to follow through. Tell your neighbor, look at him, and I want you to say this like you would tell him. Start small. See, when you look at Matthew 17:20, it talks about faith that is the size of a grain of mustard seed. That this teeny tiny, almost invisible seed has the power to create something monumental. But it started small and then grew into something gigantic. Brothers and sisters, some of us don't follow through because we try to start too big. We try to start on 15, 16 things, and we do all of them very poorly instead of focusing on 1, 2, and 3. Brothers and sisters, sometimes what we have to do is do 2 things well and let those 2 things that we have done well set us up to do something that is greater. But it is a building block towards something else. Some of us, we want to see everything. God, I just want to see everything. And God said, I ain't going to show you everything.